Hi students, hope you're doing well. All right, let's continue from the previous topic, and that is writing business reports. Uh, I talked about different business reports, long or short, both, right? Okay, and today I'm going to talk about research techniques, uh, which actually you may have to use when you are, engaged in any sort of research, right, during your career or during your graduation period. The systematic procedure used to conduct a business study are called research methods. Now, see, when you join an organization, you may encounter a problem, right? Okay, and as a manager or as an employee, okay, which concerns you because the company is facing an issue and everybody is is being impacted. For example, if you join as a marketing manager and sales are declining, that could be one of your concerns. Okay, the issue is there, and so you would like to carry out a study on that issue, right? So in that case, you are basically engaged in business research. All right, so let's have a look at what actually is involved here, or what is required. The steps in conducting research. The five steps in conducting research are: plan the research, gather information, analyze information, determine solution, write the report. And when you're planning the research, basically the first thing you really need to spot out is the problem, right? Why you should carry out research, on a particular uh, topic or on a particular you know problem, right? This is really important. If it's just a trivial thing, right, then you don't need to carry out a research. If it's really impacting the organization, then that's the thing which you got to be concerned about, right? So you got to state the problem, right, when you're planning the research, because if you state the problem, you would be able to evaluate it. You will be able to figure out whether you should go to conduct a research or not. And then comes another important things, and that is called setting the boundaries. That means you got to determine the scope of your research. You also need to consider the audience, right? The audience members who are going to read your report, and then you have to also decide on the research procedure which is to be followed, right? So here is the example of stating the problem. And for example, here they have said they have stated determine the best advertising medium for our product. Now this is the issue at hand. This is what they want, right? And that's why they would like to conduct research. Design a new procedure for processing online orders. How can we improve employee morale? Should we purchase hybrid vehicles for our delivery fleet? Now, see over here, all these statements tell us that company is you know conducting the research to resolve an issue or a problem. All right, and there is a significance of that problem, right? Okay. Then comes setting the boundaries. Research needs to have boundaries. The scope, time, schedule, budget affect the boundaries for the project. So that means the scope. What to what extent you are going to cover the topic. For example, you have to find out the reasons, right, for declining in sales. Okay, fine. Now, and your product is sold throughout the country, all right, and the company is not ready to give you much budget, and it says that you have peanuts to conduct the research. Okay, So in that case, of course, it's not possible, right, for you to carry out a survey, right, throughout the country. So you would, limit, your scope, and you maybe, you may consider surveying one or two big cities, right, or maybe two or three, because you have limited budget, right? The whole, area, right? So you may be limiting, the scope of your research. So you got to decide on the scope, right? You have to just, uh, kind of, uh, yeah, you have to look at the possible factors, okay? The factors which can be, covered, keeping in view the time and the budget, right? Okay, and this way you're going to basically limit your research, because research is an ongoing thing; it never ends, and so we got to actually put an end to it, right? By examining, or considering different factors. And how is it done? One of the methods is brainstorming. That means listing or jotting ideas without evaluating or sequencing them. So it is a stream of consciousness process that can be done alone or with a group, and can be completed in various ways. And if you're working alone, you could randomly list ideas you think you will include in your report. When working in a group, the person designated as a recorder could write ideas or a flip chart and on a flip chart and post the list where all can see and react to them. So that means it's not just like, you have jotted down the ideas, you have to evaluate those ideas, and then after, weighing all of them, you got to, decide on the one which you believe that, are important. Right, so with cluster diagramming, ideas are grouped as they're introduced. The main ideas placed in the center, and the key concepts are placed in various locations around it. This is also one of the methods, and I'll show you the diagram for that. Then comes time schedule. Of course, that's very something very important. You cannot keep on, conducting research throughout your life. You have to set up the timeline, right? And you have to, of course, tell that what things, would be finished, right, or by what time, because when you're when you're conducting research, you actually are involved in various steps, and each step should be timed, right? If you do not time, your research activities, there would not be any end, right? And then it could be a great loss in terms of cost and time. And of course, budget thing I've already talked about. Nothing is free in life. You're carrying out a research, it will cost you. Here is the diagram, cluster diagram, right? You can see the most central thing has been written, the most important thing has been written at the center, right? And then there are ideas around it. Okay, here is the example of how to schedule your research activities. For example, here we can see draft survey, 7 administer pilot studying between 14 to 21. So all activities, right, research activities are to be scheduled. Determining and analyzing the audience, you need to figure out, who are the uh, people who can be considered as primary readers, and who are the people who would be, secondary receivers or readers, right? So, for example, if your report is related to financial matters, right, the finance department, the people in the finance department are, the primary readers or receivers, okay? And if you have written the report, and if you send that report to the marketing department, then those people, could be taken as the secondary receivers, because they're not directly related to that matter or topic. Deciding on the research procedure, what method is to be taken. For that, you got to ask different questions. What amount of money, time available, is useful information about the topic available in print or electronic form, is sufficient information available within the company, will surveying employees produce useful data, and are the computing resources necessary to collect and analyze data available, and will the report be prepared internally or externally. All these sort of questions actually, determine, right, what sort of method is to be used. I will not get into details over here because there is, I think, probably a subject, right, related to research, business research methods, which you may be studying later. All right, gather information. Now there are secondary sources of information. Now, what does that mean? The published material on most topics are readily available in company, public, or college library, and this is actually this is called the secondary source, right, or sources. Now, when you are extracting information from the magazine or any secondary source, any published material you are getting information from, in that case, you need to evaluate that source, and you can evaluate, the source uh, by looking at its timeliness. Is the information the most current available? The information you're getting it. If the source is obsolete, let's suppose something was written in 18th century may not be relevant today. So you should not be using information from that source. So timeliness is very important. Relevance is very important. If your topic is sales, you cannot, extract information from the production related to production, of the product or something like that, right? Okay, so it has to be relevant. Approach is the work and opinion piece or research report or opinion supported by facts or research. This is very important. If it just mere, if it just an opinion piece, right, and nothing is being supported with facts, right, then it may not be taken as a credible source, right? So that information could be questioned, right? So of course, is the research complete or thorough, or there are lackings and lots of criticism, on that research? In that case, its authenticity or it's especially the accuracy, whatever the findings are, could be questioned. Accuracy of the findings could be questioned, right? Outlet is the publication reputable. What, if any, review process was used to screen the work for publication? So this is very important, right? Sometimes there are things which are published in the journals, and those journals are not reputed, right? That means they actually publish anything, right, which is available, right? So they do not check the quality, they do not check the accuracy and all that. So you got to, of course, consider the publication of the material, okay, whether it's been published, okay, by a reputed publisher or not, right? So that is also uh, one of the important things which you have to take into account, right? Okay, then comes author. Is the author an authority on the topic being researched? This is also very important. If author doesn't have any expertise in that area, then of course the authenticity, the accuracy of the information will be questioned. So you really need to take care of all of these things, because no one controls who posts what to the internet. Okay, so you will want to consider the following if you search secondary information sources of website. So this is also important, especially the type and the purpose. Is the site a personal page or one geared toward advocacy, marketing, information, or news? Of course, it's a personal page. then okay, it would not be that authentic. Once again, you need to look at who the person is, whether the person has got the expertise in an area or not. Then sponsor the page owner or group, organization, institution, corporation, government agency. So in case of government agency, in case of institution, corporation, its credibility, of course, gets increased, right? And that then, you can actually, extract the information from that particular source. Perspective, does either the author or the sponsor bring a bias to what is posted at the site? This is also very important, because if you pick up the biased information, right, it may not guide you well, right? You got to consider the counter argument or counter or alternative viewpoints as well. All right, author contact information are very important. Author contact information is very important. So, who wrote or gathered the material? What potential does the person or group possess? Googling the author may help verify his or her credentials, because this way you can match whether the person has got the relevant, you know, uh, yeah, has got sorry, the person has got the relevant expertise or not, right? Okay. Completeness, does the site include up to date links to other relevant sites, right? This is also important, because if they have taken information from some other sites, right, so whether they have provided the links or not. If they haven't provided with the links, then that means something is you know yeah, shaky, right? Okay. So attribution is the information contained at the site original. If not, have the authors appropriately cited their sources. Okay, check to be sure cited information has been abstracted correctly. If the material is copyrighted, you will need to secure permission to use it. If the part cited is more than a small part of the publication or is a unique logo, survey, or other author designed original work. Timeliness, how current is the information? When was the site last updated? Look for more than a last updated entry with the contact. Check citations. Look for the active links, right? Or you can email me or use any other means. Thank you. Take care of yourself.